This is Replicant Fish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. Hope you're doing well. So in my first video yesterday, I used The Last of Us 2 gameplay footage for background because I thought it fitting, and I was explaining how the biohazard has had an effect on women. Now many have said that, well, Fish, I disagree. I believe more men are suffering right now because of what's going on. And I did state that obviously many men would be suffering, but because of the way women react to certain things, obviously you would say women are going to react in a certain way because of this pandemic. And the way I have mentioned before is the selling of services, as in their services, their time and sexual energy. Now to prove this point, allow me to educate some of you on this website called Onlyfans. Onlyfans is a social media service based in London, England. Creators run a paid subscription content service with ways for them to build relationships and provide exclusive content to their subscribers, or fans. It is popular in the adult entertainment industry, but also hosts content creators from other genres such as physical fitness experts and other creators who post regularly online. It allows content creators to receive funding directly from their fans on a monthly basis, as well as on tips and pay-per-view. So basically it's a for your eyes only sort of service. Now obviously many of you understand, many women would use this to make money. Obviously, clearly, we know this. We live in this time. But let me show you some stats that prove my point. Let's take a look. From Twitter, Blake Montgomery writes, OnlyFans reporting 3.5 million new signups in March. Again, 3.5 million new signups in March. Who can tell me when most of this pandemic thing started to kick off the most? What month? Okay. 60,000 of them new creators, per an email from the company. In the first 2 weeks of March alone, that was a 75% increase from the normal level. Now some would say, oh, that's coincidental, how in March, randomly, the numbers jump by 75%. 3.5 million new signups in 1 month? That's staggering. That's more than coincidental. Now many of us as men know that in a crisis, women would turn to some form of security. Men being so secure, women would turn to men in some way or some form. Now obviously they're making money from this, but obviously it's the times we live in. Women can sell their imagery online, and they are in droves. Now last year, one of my earliest videos on this channel, I made a comment, which at the time I couldn't remember the movie. The comment went like this: if everyone in the world has superpowers or is super, then no one is. That was from The Incredibles. Syndrome was the bad guy's name, if I remember correctly. Now my point for saying that is, when so many women become women who are selling their services, does it then become so normal where a large majority of them in an instant can resort to this? In an instant? Yes. And that is the thing that many men find it difficult to understand. They really do believe all women are delicate flowers, basically. No, they're not. Women, as I've said before, are very opportunistic creatures. They will jump at opportunities they come across, if they need to or want to. Some men know women who they think, oh, she would never do that. Really? Really? Have you ever seen that woman in a desperate situation? A really desperate situation. I'm sure many men right now are learning the hard way that, for however they thought she was, the reality of her is somewhat darker. And I say this, and I make these points to show men what is going on, so men understand this. Many older bastards, we know this. Some of us know this. Many younger men, they're learning this the hard way. Many of them actually know what's going on, and that's good. But many younger men are still oblivious. They still think there are many unicorns running around, when the fact is what they're seeing are horses. They're just flipping horses with ice cream cones duct taped to their heads. That's all it is. The moment you get too comfortable with one of these unicorns, you then see the cone fall off, and then you're left with nothing but a horse. Just a regular horse. For some men it's actually a mule. The point being, as a man, learn to listen less of what women say about things they will and will not do. Understand to watch how they move rather than what they say. They show you all the time exactly how they are. It's not for a man to hate them, no. It's just to be aware of them, what they will and won't do. You see, Because I know these things, it is so easy for me as a man to be single. It's not a challenge, it's not something I have to think twice about. It makes perfect sense. As a man, ask yourself the question, why is there this persistent lie to pretend women are delicate creatures? Because the ones they're trying to fool, for the most part, is you, us, as men. Women know what women are like. They just hope we as men don't. Because if we did, we would question them on every damn thing, more than just jumping in to sleep with them because it is on offer. Many men are fools enough to believe they're getting the prize from her. She is the prize. No, she is not. No, she is not. Most of us as men cannot resort to selling services. Come on, really? So simply by that logic alone, we as men have to be able to think deeper about things. We have to, by nature, be able to do more to survive. Thus, by nature, as a man, understand why the world you build for yourself is so important. Why you have no choice but to make it the best you possibly can. Women have the ability to fall back on being women when they need to be. When civilization is running correctly, they can afford to be loud and brash, of course. But as we can see clearly, when things start to fall apart, whom changes their actions the quickest? It's somewhat silent on the feminist front, wouldn't you say? Obviously, because now is not the time for women to try to be so loud when they know they need men to survive the coming storm. And the other side is the amount of simps who are paying to see this. Continue to waste your money on something you could see for free. You do realize the internet is there and you can see some of these things for free? For free. Okay. But as I always say, be aware. Do not be afraid to question, to examine and see the truth of women. More importantly, learn to see the truth of self so that you don't end up being one of those bastards paying to see a regular chick in the nude doing all manner of things to herself. Really. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.